in the African American community as a legend for all that he did in his leading. But I think one of the challenges we had in the aftermath of his killing was that people felt like they couldn't rise to that level. And so what could they contribute? And I felt like, we, in paying reverence, all due reverence to him yesterday, as we should have, we can't get trapped yet again in thinking that he was larger than life and we could never live up to or do. One of his greatest statements was everybody can be great because anyone can serve. And so, I hope that today, tomorrow, and the days to come, people see the contributions that they can make. They may not be leading marches like you, Reverend Sharpton. They may not be standing up to princes and principalities, with policy, changes like you are and like I strive to do. But they can make a difference in their communities. And if so, people would embody what he really meant by saying everybody can be great because anyone can serve, then we can go somewhere.
As I stood last evening, we had flown Martin III, his wife, and his beautiful daughter, who was Dr. King's only grandchild. We flew from Memphis to Atlanta and joined his sister, Reverend Bernice, and Dexter, and his sister, Dr. King's sister, Christine Ferris, who was such an elegant lady. And we joined them as they went to the crypt, and we all stood around. And I grew up, I was 13 when Dr. King got killed, been in the movement under your father from right before that. And it hit me more, I think, yesterday. And I was talking to Dexter about it. It just seemed the weight of it, maybe because there's so much going on and Trump's president. And I thought about, and I said this speaking in Memphis, that less than a week ago, I stood over the body of an unarmed black man in Sacramento. I mean, not even a week before we remember this, and here we are. But then as I looked at the crypt, I said, here we are. Dr. King and Mrs. King, who I knew Mrs. King well, would have expected us. So at one level, you say with some level of exhaustion, we're still marching. At another level, you want to say to Dr. King and all of that era, yes, we are still, yes, we're not going to let them get away with it and take back the things you did get for us and the things you were trying to get, which is why they killed him. Yeah. We talk about his assassination and never talk about why they killed him. They killed him because he was talking about the distribution of wealth in this country.
That's right.
And he was talking about the military power around the world, notably Vietnam, and the imbalance there. And I don't think, and that's one of the things we're going to really focus on during the convention, National Action Network's convention. We usually do it around the time of his assassination. We purposely said, no, on the 50th, let's start a couple of weeks later, so we cannot get confused with the ceremony, with not analyzing why they killed him, and then how we have an action plan to continue the things that he died for. They didn't just kill Dr. King, they just was out having target practice that day. And they were trying to stop him from doing specific things that he was doing.
Right, and I would add to that he was appreciating that, those market pieces of legislation, like those hallmark pieces, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the fight for the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which was passed just days after he was killed. He was appreciating that even though those were hallmark pieces of legislation, they weren't making good on the promise. We weren't seeing great increases in opportunity for African-American people. We weren't seeing the poverty numbers dropping dramatically. We weren't seeing the significant gains in voting rights and opportunity and representation. And so he was starting to call that out with the Poor People's Campaign. And that was another reason to say, okay, wait a minute, we got to silence him on this.
And he said specifically that we fought and got the Civil Rights Act where blacks can now check in a hotel and go to order a hamburger. But they don't have the money to pay the hotel bill and they can't pay for the hamburger. So it's economic rights. It was dealing with income inequality. It was dealing with labor rights. He was in Memphis for the same union we marched with yesterday, who now has an outstanding black president, Lee Sanders, who will be National Action Network's convention. And I think that a lot of this we need to challenge ourselves on what is it we're going to do.
Absolutely.
I said earlier on the show, and I said in my morning Instagram, we celebrated and commemorated last weekend Good Friday and Easter. Yet we don't get up after Easter with the Spirit of Christ. And we commemorate Dr. King and don't do the work of Dr. King. So we reduce them to ceremonial things. Buy Easter outfits. Go to a King service. You do nothing.
Absolutely.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Jennifer Jones Austin, Shopton, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.